Welcome back, guys, to Two Old Guys Reselling Podcast. Happy to have you here. Looks a little different over here on the Old Path side because we are officially inside of our reselling space. We're home. We are
looking good.
We're home. Insulated, wired, got lights, got heat going in here. Don't have my official heat pump yet. That's another week away, but ready for it and excited about that. So I'll have a video probably drop before this does. I've told myself I'm going to get out there. I'm going to record, do a walk around, show everybody what's going on since I've not done that in like a month.
Wow.
And just giving
You've only done one since August, I think.
Listen, so, that's not important. You have to remind me of that.
Your foot has not been on the gas when it comes to that, buddy.
That's true. It's not even in cruise control at this point. She's in park.
Dead battery, flat tire.
Flat tire, everything. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, too. It's officially Thanksgiving Day when this comes out. That'll be an interesting video. We may get like 7 views on this one.
That'll be all right.
But that's okay.
On the day of, it won't be very good, but it'll still be floating around out there in the notifications. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll be here for you on Thanksgiving Day. So
hey, look, real resellers when they come get ready to crash for the evening, after all the eating and all the families going home, that's what they're going to do, man. They're going to sit down, turn the TV on, put it on YouTube, and look for some good YouTube content to watch. So who knows? It might turn out better than we think. Everybody will be off work.
I must not be a real YouTube reseller. I don't do that necessarily. Yeah, man, what a time. Like, I know you're busy. We was talking before the show, like just so busy. Like this just seems like, and I know we've kind of talked about this, like it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to not necessarily slow down, but our time is going to shift to where we've got more for this and more for that we need. And I thought today was my day. Like I moved out here. What day was it? Saturday? No, Friday. I started moving stuff out here. And today's Monday. We record on Monday.
Right.
And it'll come out on Thursday. But I was moving everything. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to hit it hard Monday morning. Like I'm in my space. Now, I've literally got it set up, except for these ladders back here and some stuff over in the bathroom space. That's all that's really kind of, quote, in the way. And it's not really even in the way. It's just kind of there. And I thought, yep, I'm going to be able to do pictures and all this. Well, if you look over here, this is my picture and pack station. I don't have anything, no backdrop yet. So today my plan was, well, I'll pick up like a sheet of wainscoting or, maybe even a few pieces of sheetrock and just something that I can build a space. So I forgot last night, Logan's truck messed up. We had to take it to the shop. And so today he took my truck. So I didn't have my truck to get nothing with. I was going to get just like a 4x3 sheet of pre-finished, and throw up there. Ran out of time, had to get the kids, just everything has went wrong. Then it was literally time to come record the show. And once we're done, I might have time to do something. I don't know. We'll see. But it's been a whirlwind of a Monday. And so hopefully, and I know it's only going to get worse this week. Like this is the week, right? This is the week for resale. Yes. And I plan on having like 7 sales. I'm going to do great, but it's going to be the week. This is the busiest, single busiest week of our year for most resellers is this one holiday shopping kickoff week, I guess you could call it. And I don't know, you ready for it?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get. I'm like you. I would love to say that, I could shut everything else down and for the last week or two, and I've been working hard, but I mean, at the same time, I would love to have been able to focus only on eBay for a couple of weeks and really bulked things up. But you do what you can do, and that's all you can do. We've had a ton of things going on, just different stuff with family and church. We had a birthday party for our pastor, my best friend. That was Friday night, and I did a lot of the cooking for that. They had some of it catered, and then I did some of it. I smoked a bunch of, I think I told you about that. I smoked a bunch of Boston butts and did some desserts and stuff. And then
did you already forget you sent me the text messages, pictures, and all that?
Yeah, well, I didn't forget it. Just that it was coming to me as I was saying it to you. But we did that. I'm just saying, like the days that we had that going on. So I mean, I was doing that for like the day before and the day of because it takes a while.
Oh yeah,
and then pulling all that meat and shredding it. You know, I mean that's not a job for the faint of heart if you're doing it by yourself. So anyway, I got all that prepped up and ready, and we had a great time. And then we had a wedding on Saturday afternoon. And so, you know, we got up, did a little bit that morning, started trying to get some things done in the house for Thanksgiving because we're having that here. And I don't know, there's going to probably be 20 or 25 people here, I guess. I mean, something like that. It's going to be a pretty big crowd. And so we kind of got a little bit of a head start. And then we had to get ready for the wedding, drop my mom off with my aunt and uncle. And we were going to that and then come home. And then Sunday's church, and come in and fix some dinner and went back. We had choir practice after church Sunday night. And then they had just like finger foods and stuff. So we didn't get home till like 8:30 or 9 last night. There's just not been time to do, and then I started boiling chicken this morning to get ready for dressing and dumplings and cleaning the kitchen and still doing stuff in the house to get ready. It's a busy week. It's a fun week. It's a week I'm thankful for, to get to be with family. But man, it is busy. And on top of that, eBay, of course, a packed, for shipping. And so just a lot of live stuff. And I think everyone has that, but sometimes I think I've got an unfair share of it.
I hear you. I kind of feel that way too. Like, man, how did it all land in my lap? Like that's kind of the feeling we get sometimes, but it's same situations, scenarios and things here, just a lot of busy days. And I tried to murder my thumb for those of you that can see on YouTube. I've got a nice purple thumb.
You could have done a better job than that.
Listen, it literally hit right on the crease of the nail. Why are you laughing? That's not funny. It hit right on the crease of the nail in the skin. And the culprit is this. If I can get my head out of the way, rack right here. I was adjusting 2 shelves at one time, and I would not recommend doing that ever, ever, ever. And the top one, I thought I had it wedged in where it wouldn't move, and that sucker dropped about 18 inches straight down on my finger, and I just about died. Like, that hurt so bad.
I'm surprised you was able to record today. I mean,
this injury is almost life-altering.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I thought the next message you're going to send me was, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to make it Monday or not.
I got a rag on my head. I'm laying in the bed, sir. I can't make it today. Man. Well, what's so bad? Like, I busted that thumb. Then I cut one finger. I burnt one finger. I chopped up another. I mean, I like murdered my fingers this last week.
Well, you got 10. Sounds like you got 5 or 6 left. So.
I've got 4 left that hasn't been injured in some way. I'm counting down to see when they're going to get hurt.
Oh, man.
But yeah, just busy. But don't, we had a Thanksgiving service last night. I preached starting instead of ending. I started with the message, and we had our songs, and then we had just time of testimony for everybody to give thanks and things like that. And it's good, because the things that we don't think about, and I'm serious, like I sit here and I'm looking out the window and I'm thinking, well, you got so much to be thankful for. I did not have to walk to the post office today. I was able to walk outside, get in a vehicle. I stayed warm the whole time.
Yeah.
Or cool, whichever. And just, think about how much different our lives could be. And we got good family. We got good friends. Yeah. We've just got so much to be thankful for.
I say this a lot, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir when I say this, because I struggle with this myself a lot of times. But man, perspective is so, so important. I know I've said it on this show a lot. The way we choose to see things, and there'll always be a voice in there trying to get us to only see everything that's going on, that's a challenge, everything that's a circumstance that we don't want to have to deal with, everything that's a problem, everything that's a burden, and make us, if we're not careful, just be absolutely miserable, and just dread even facing the day that's ahead of us. But if we can get our perspective adjusted, like you said, we overlook so many things that seem so small, but in reality, they're really, really big. that make our lives so much easier, so much better, so many blessings that we, in this time of year especially. Thanksgiving is probably, the older I've gotten, my favorite holiday of the basic holidays. I think I said this to someone that it's less commercialized. And I think because of that, even though every holiday seems to be getting commercialized these days, but I think because of that, it's less commercial. It has stayed more true, to being a time of family and fellowship, and really trying, I think, at least in our household, trying to be reflective about all the things we have to be thankful for. And I'll be all worked up, man. I'm going to be worked up and stressed out for a day or two, trying to get the house in order and get ready and get set up and do all the cooking I got to do. But when it finally comes to an end, that not the old day, not I'm talking about the holidays over, but I mean, at that point that it's finished, and then we can just all sit and for the next however many hours and the next day, usually the whole weekend after that, just to enjoy whoever else stops by, dig in the refrigerator for leftovers. There's no cooking to do for a few days. That's it. It's such a great thing. The fact that we get to do that, we get to have a day where people are off work, family comes in, we can sit down and share a meal, and we have the food in the pantry to do that, and really to put on a spread that is, probably more than what we should do. And I mean, we're blessed, man.
Very much blessed.
Perspective. How we choose to see things.
Yep. Well, that's kind of, I was telling everybody at church what happened to my finger, and I'm going to continue to ride that until it's no longer rideable. But I was telling everybody, I said the way it fell, and I know it's just one of them things that happens, but the way it fell, I jerked my thumb back right at the last second, and it caught me right there. Had I not jerked my thumb back, it would have hit me on this joint right here, and it most likely would have broke my thumb.
Well, that would have been a lot better than losing your thumbnail.
I don't know. I think I'd rather lose my thumbnail than break my thumb. I feel the sarcasm.
I feel like you may be overselling this just a little bit.
No, I promise you. I couldn't sleep Thursday night. It hit so hard. Or no, it was. Oh man! It was Thursday. This happened, and Thursday night it was throbbing so hard, it literally felt like my thumb was going to bust open. It was hurting so bad, and I'm not. I mean, I am a baby. All men are babies, we hear that. But I'm not like a little bit of pain don't make me sit around and go, oh, I can't do it. I'm not that kind. But this one was like, man, I can't sleep. I'm just sitting there like. I'd fall asleep and I'd wake right back up, throb. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm just saying, like I could sit around and do more of what I'm doing right now, complaining and crying about it, or I could be thankful I have a thumb.
You're doing a good job. I mean,
yeah, I know, I'm trying. But the point is,
just playing, buddy.
The point is, after Friday morning, I couldn't button my pants. I couldn't button a shirt. I couldn't tie my shoes or nothing because my thumb, I couldn't touch it to anything. And I told several people, I'm like, well, I'm really thankful for a thumb. Like,
oh man,
I told everybody, I said, try to tie something with just your four fingers. Just try. It's utterly impossible. And I said, so I'm thankful for my thumbs today. And I know that sounds stupid, but it's just one little reminder God gave me about, I mean,
it's a game changer, brother.
It's everything.
That opposable thumb is a game changer. I'm glad he thought of that. That makes life so much easier.
Design in the hand,
Oh man,
you can't even grip something very well without.
You couldn't do this.
No. Yeah. But I mean, just it's perspective. It's all in how you look at things.
Right.
We had a guy, man at churches, Tim. You met Tim,
right?
Him and his family got in a really, really serious car accident a couple of weeks ago. He pulled out. It was nighttime, and the woman that hit him didn't have her lights on, was speeding on her cell phone, had young babies in the car, and I mean, she T-boned him hard, and going like 45 or 50 miles an hour. Not a scratch on anybody, nobody. And I'm like, if it wasn't for the protection of the Lord, could have got killed. Like that's a very serious especially getting T-boned. Somebody's taking the entire brunt of the force on their side, and everybody walked away from it relatively unscathed, just a little bit of aches and pains. And he got up at church and he was like, he said the first thought he had was, God, you said you're going to protect me. Like he said that. And then as he was praying and he was reading his Bible, he said, God spoke to him and said, I did protect you. Think about what could have happened.
Exactly.
And again, perspective, we got to look at it like, I think one of the best ways I've ever heard it put, treat every day like a gift, because you never know what tomorrow may not even be in your future.
Very
we
true.
just don't know. We just don't know. But the season of Thanksgiving, and I'm like you, man, this Christmas and Thanksgiving are neck and neck for me. I love both of them, but Thanksgiving is special in its own way because, just it doesn't carry along with it the need for the presents necessarily.
Right.
It's just a time to get together and visit and eat together. And of course, if you're from the South, we don't know each other until we eat together. Like, that is the way it is. We got to eat a meal before we know each other. And it's just a good time to get together with family and friends and just spend that special time that you don't get because everybody works, and everybody's life is basically in different ways like ours. Everybody has a lot on their plate and they're busy, and I get it. So I love it, and I remember growing up, my family there was 7 grandkids. They would end up being like 20 of us or something like that. And I thought, boy, we got a big old family Thanksgiving, like this is so many people all at once. And I went with my wife the first time when we was dating to hers. Her mom is one of 8, and most of them have like 3-4 kids apiece. And there was like 70 people at her family Thanksgiving that year. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's only grown because the kids had kids and their kids had grandkids. When I'm like, everybody's, there's like nearly 100 people. We had it at our fellowship hall last year at church, and it looked like a homecoming dinner down there. Like, there's 100 people down there. Every seat's full. Not even going to hold anybody else. It's packed. So I love Thanksgiving. And for everybody watching today, we hope your Thanksgiving is awesome. Hope you get to spend time with your family and enjoy this day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So also, what about the next show next week? Announcement?
What's next week?
December, first week of December.
Oh, is it next week or is it
December
the week after?
8th?
Is next week's the 2nd?
Yeah, that's the record. So it's 2 weeks away.
I thought it was the 9th.
Is it 2 weeks away? We record. Okay, but either way, we can go ahead and announce this. What I'm saying.
Yeah, we can.
I'd let you do it since not trying to be awkward here.
I'm gonna have to go back and check my messages to make sure. Man,
come on now.
Talk for just a second.
Well, you're the one that secured this, so I thought you had it all wrapped up. I should have hit you with that before we got on here, I guess. That's my fault.
Yeah, I forget stuff. Let me get this all lined up right quick. Yes, it's not next week. It is the week after next. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Right.
2 old guys in 2 weeks. We have another special guest coming on. None other than Commonwealth Picker. Kevin is coming on to hang out with us. And we're excited about that. Kevin is kind of, I don't want to give him a big head or nothing like that because, Dave and Carrie will deflate him really bad if we do that. But he's kind of like one of the main, I don't know how you'd say it. He's got a lot of influence in the community. People look to him for answers. He's very influential and helpful. And I've watched Kevin a lot in the past and picked up good ideas. I mean, who would have thought? I certainly never would have thought to be looking for Tupperware at a yard sale. Like, I hate Tupperware. Like, I don't even like listing it or anything. Tanya's like, oh, well, I'm going to buy that Tupperware. And I'm like, why don't you go back to the car? And, I don't want to buy it. But Kevin has really turned a lot of people on to a lot of that stuff. And he's a very knowledgeable. And I have a feeling, I don't know, call me crazy, but I have a feeling that my co-host, who used to be a teacher, and Kevin, who used to be a teacher, are probably going to never shut up, and I'm not going to be able to talk next week.
I don't know about all that.
Two teachers in the same room.
I feel like you're projecting.
Okay, Kevin is a history guy, right? He talks about history a lot. What did you teach?
I taught chemistry.
Okay, I thought you taught history too. No,
I did.
Oh, there you go.
But I knew you would not emphasize the fact that I taught a lot of stuff. I taught any science and any history, so I was pretty well across the board on those two subjects.
It's going to be an interesting show.
Well, I mean, it's not a show about teaching, so at least not that side of it.
I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we try to give people advice.
Right.
We're not a teaching podcast like show up here and learn all about eBay. I wouldn't say that.
This is not your first stop if you're trying to be the best eBayer.
Yeah. If you want to know how not to do it, maybe that might be the best way. Or honestly, accurately, if you want to know how to manage the chaos of life while trying to sell on eBay,
there you go. Or how to not list anything and formulate the perfect excuse to put it off till tomorrow.
That's exactly right. And I've succeed once again. So
you have exceeded all expectations here lately.
I'm good. I mean, I'm they used to say jack of all trades, master of none. I think I'm pretty well mastered that one though. I've mastered the art of the excuse, good at that.
I just felt like we might ought to go ahead and throw something in there about it, though. Seriously, to let people know, we probably not did a good job here lately when we've had guests at kind of promoting it ahead of time. We need to do better about that. We're not trying to show favoritism either, but I know behind the scenes we kind of talked about how we keep letting it sneak up on us, and
that's true.
We've got to do a better job. Probably even promoting across other social media would help us a lot if we would do that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So we are who we are, and it's not changed yet. So
and it's not a gimmick. Two old guys.
No, it's not a gimmick.
Speaking of guests, you took a visit down to the Reseller Clickbait podcast the other day. I seen.
Yeah, they did their Thanksgiving special,
and I was going. I had it not bookmarked, but I had seen it, and I was trying to remember it. I didn't bookmark it or anything, or whatever they call that. And for some reason, I totally forgot all about it. And I think it was Thursday because it filmed on a Wednesday, or Jens did a live Wednesday night, I believe.
Yeah.
And Thursday,
I was late because of church.
Yeah, it seems like I was looking for it, and I'm like, oh man, this has already been, and I totally missed it. So yeah, Ken and Corey's awesome.
Absolutely.
Those guys are great guys. If you're not familiar, which I'm sure most of you are, with the Reseller Clickbait podcast, that's Ken SSK Promo and Corey, one half of Grams and Pops Vintage. Both of those channels are good. Collectively, they do that podcast. They're great guys. Go over and check them out. Tell them the two old guys sent you, and they'll probably run you off after they hear that. But anyway, no, they're good guys for sure.
Yeah, appreciate them. And of course, the meetup in Omaha, the Plains to Profit, second annual meetup is getting closer and closer. So keep that in mind. Go check them out. There'll be a link, I'm sure, in their videos to that. But you can Google Plains to Profit 2025, and they've got a website. It'll take you right to the information that you need.
Got a nice
if you're interested. I'm not sure if they got any tickets left. I know they had a limited number. I think they still have some spots left, but I know it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of limited. But yeah, if you're interested, it's a great meetup, great event. They did a great job last year. Really enjoyed it. A lot of good resellers there, and a lot of good information shared. So check them out. Go over there, and we're helping to sponsor or trying to. We're probably not doing a good job of reminding people about that.
We're a supporter or a sponsor.
Yeah,
I don't know. One of them.
I don't know. We're just trying to help.
Yeah,
we're
trying. Yeah, this is how we.
Yeah, it's how we roll.
It's how we roll. We're not always good at it, but we try. We make an effort at least.
Yeah. But no, we had a good time. Had a good time on there with Ken and Corey. Always fun hanging out with them. Great guys. And, of course, it was their Thanksgiving. Ken loves the holidays, always does holiday specials. They do one for Halloween and for Thanksgiving. And, of course, he has debuted his Santa beard. He's getting geared up for the holiday.
The night you was on there?
I think it was on the regular show, I think a week before, maybe. I think it was maybe the week before.
He's a perfect
unveiling. Yeah, so he's all in the spirit, man. He's ready to get past Thanksgiving and be ready for Christmas. But had a good conversation about just what the holiday is for all of us, and in the chat, and of course a lot about food, because that's what we think of when we think of Thanksgiving. A lot of times, our favorite foods, things we maybe grew up eating, things we still have today, and just how we celebrate the holidays. Just a really fun show for me. I thought it was. I enjoyed it a lot.
Ken holds a distinguished accolade. I'm not even sure that he realizes this. He was the very last guest to appear on this show when it was me and Chris, Old School Picker.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the last episode with Chris. So Ken, that was a good show. I really enjoyed having Ken on, and he was decked out. Like it was this time of year. He was full on Santa beard. He was dressed in his Christmas garb and all this stuff. And I show up just like I am now. I ain't trying to be all, I'm not presenting nothing. I don't get dressed up. I'm not putting hats on. So Chris shows up in his Santa hat. Ken's dressed up as Santa Claus, and I'm sitting here like a grumpy elf with nothing. But no, Ken's cool. He's a good dude. And of course, Corey and Teresa, great people. We love all those guys, and I am a little bit jealous. I will say I didn't get the invitation to come on the show this year. That was just for Josh, but that's okay. I forgive you guys. It's all right.
Well, you've been invited on a few I wouldn't on. They were really good though. They plugged the show for us, and
they are
they're always good about that. Ken does that a lot for us. Just about every single time that I'm able to make it into one of his lives or anything that he's doing, he always shouts out the show, and there's great. There's a lot of folks. A lot of folks that maybe don't have time or don't maybe have too big an audience to be able to do that, but we appreciate things like that. It may seem small to some, but whether it does anything for viewership or not, it's just those personal relationships. We appreciate it a lot.
Absolutely. And we had a long running what was it, like a challenge with those guys back in the day, who's going to hit 1K first. They still ain't hit it, and I think we're trying to find out if we can get out of it right now, but we're going to be okay. Anyway,
as long as they don't do another YouTube purge of of unsupported subscriptions, we're still close. What, 20 above or something like that?
So, we're going to float. I think
it'd be nice to hit a little growth spurt, but we'll see.
We're okay.
It's all right.
We'll be all right either way. Well, let's get into a segment before we move on.
Let's do it.
Comment of the week. So I'll go first because I like this comment. I really like this comment a lot. Coppercat8383 said, enjoyed the show, but when discussing Southern food, you never mentioned, she said chitterlings. And I don't know if that's the real word or not. I've always heard chitlins.
Yeah, it was chitterlings, is it right?
Is it really?
Yeah, that's not how people say it, but chitlins is how you say it. But
I have never heard.
If you actually were to buy them, like that's how it's labeled.
Really?
Chitterlings. Yep.
Well, I have now learned something on this first time anything's ever been learned on this show.
Oh, wow.
I'm kidding.
I'm not doing a good job.
Oh, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's what she said. I responded back, there is a reason for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, very good reason.
Yeah.
Very good reason.
Talk about it. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food? Since we're talking about food.
Oh my goodness.
You got to pick one.
I can't do that. I struggle with favorites. I can't do that.
Pick 10?
No, I mean, there's things that would not be there, but it's like there's things that I think, like, I'll put it this way. I'll give you, for instance, okay? Growing up, like, dressing never was, like, at the top of my list, but at the same time, I cannot imagine Thanksgiving without cornbread dressing, chicken and dressing.
Staple.
I can't imagine making a plate and it not being on there for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Brown
gravy on top.
Well, we would sometimes have gravy. Mama make the giblet gravy, whatever they call it, but usually it's cranberry. Cranberry was our thing. We'd have gravy. You could put a little bit of that on it too, but cranberry sauce was our thing generally. But yeah, I think probably probably chicken and dumplings.
Mhm.
At the that and the dressing. I think of those two things. I think everybody has turkey, right? Turkey and ham, or turkey or
Yep,
ham. So
both.
like even Ken, we did the build our plate thing on the show with the reseller clickbait the other night, and we kind of just let that be a given, So that's understood. But
Yep,
I think those two things for me growing up, that was kind of like two of mom's big things that only came out for big events, for holidays, for big church gatherings. And so, seeing her, having that huge pan of chicken dressing, that huge pot of chicken and dumplings, to me, that's how I knew it was Thanksgiving.
yep.
That's how I knew for a fact. You had both of them the same night.
Absolutely, and it's hard to separate because of what you just said. If you just have one thing, it's not going to be
Yeah.
right. But if I had to pick the one thing that I probably enjoy the most, and most people are going to be like, "What?" It is probably the cranberry sauce.
Really?
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. And just the can, the regular old out of the can, just slice it up. It don't have to be fresh or nothing. I just love it.
Yeah.
My mom would make a 7-layer salad, which I'm not sure if you're familiar, but anyway,
Yeah.
it's lettuce and ranch and peas and
Yeah, I know what it is. I've had it.
oh man, last year, Tanya made it, and so there was quite a bit left over, but we brought it home, and I'm not exaggerating. I promise I'm not exaggerating. I ate 7-layer salad for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. After Thanksgiving was over for lunch, we had the Thanksgiving lunch. I had that 7-layer salad for supper. Friday, I had 7-layer salad for breakfast, lunch, supper. Saturday, I had 7-layer salad for breakfast, lunch, supper, and then it was gone. But I ate it for 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to tell you what that done to my stomach. It wasn't a pleasant experience,
Yeah.
but I love it.
I'm thinking that's probably the case.
It was not a pleasant
Yeah.
experience.
Oh man.
It's two of my favorite things. And
Yeah.
of course, like you just said, the stuff in the dressing. I'm not a big turkey guy. I will get the ham. I will eat turkey, but it's not my favorite thing. But I mean, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes. I mean, it's just like the staples. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a big venture out guy. Like if somebody brings something new, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna stick with what I know. That's just me.
The thing for me is, I guess that I know for some people, and I know it's different depending on where, kind of the home you grow up in, the routine or the way of doing things. And I'm not criticizing or knocking anybody. That's not it. But I think I've said things about this on the show before. Growing up, I mean, like we had fried potatoes, mashed potatoes. We ate every night, every evening. And if mom was home, she'd cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, I mean, we were eating home cooking all the time. So, I mean, it's not like I had to wait around to a holiday to get mashed potatoes and green beans, or mashed potatoes and peas, or, whatever, she might do that time, or cornbread. We had it all. We had cornbread every night,
Don't you feel sorry for people that do have to wait?
Yeah. I mean, I understand. And I understand why they get excited. Like, oh, I just love those homemade mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving. I'm like, you don't ever buy potatoes and make mashed potatoes at home? Because to me, those are staples. We have those a lot. So those would never be at the top of my list. As far as the favorites, there's things that you don't see. They don't get broke out very often. But when they break those things out and do those, mom would do some other stuff. Not every single holiday. Like she would kind of alternate. But like she made this. It was really good. I loved it. Like I'm not a big casserole person, but she'd make this broccoli casserole. It's like broccoli and rice and cheese, and it had onions, like sauteed onions in it, and it was really, really good. I always enjoyed that. Better than macaroni and cheese, because we have macaroni and cheese all the time,
Yep.
but we didn't have that very, very often. That was just once in a while. So, yeah, when I think of holidays and I think of like Thanksgiving, to me, the things that stand out, food wise, regular food is that. And then I love pie. Like I'll eat cake. I'm not going to discriminate against cake, but I love pies. And mom would make a smorgasbord of pies. Of course, we'd have pumpkin pie. That was never my favorite. I would eat it, but there were so many that I liked more. Because we'd have pumpkin pie, cherry pie. We'd have homemade chocolate pie, lemon meringue pie. I mean, we'd have an apple pie. We'd have so much, so much stuff. We'd have usually a banana pudding, and then we'd have cake. She'd make chocolate cake, and She made the rum cakes, the bundt cakes, rum cake things. Just there would be so much. It was just it was overwhelming, you know. And I'm not a huge dessert person, but I love me some pie, you know.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I like it too. I used to eat pumpkin pie out of the can, but my wife's aunt made me a fresh pumpkin pie one year, and I've never had it fresh. Like, she took the pumpkin, cut it up, cooked it, the whole 9 yards. That is a game changer. Like,
really?
Have you never had one like that?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, it's not even close.
I'm sure Mama's done. She usually used the canned pumpkin. At first, I was trying to get my mind wrapped around what you're saying. You said you ate pumpkin pie out of a can, not
made out of a can.
Yeah,
canned pumpkin.
Made out of canned pumpkin. And made out of can would be dangerous too.
Yeah, that would be a good pie.
Yeah, that's not a You ever think about? I know I'm being goofy, right? This is kind of the whole dumb dad joke thing, but like the way we say, if what we said was literal, like how many times we misspeak, it's just unreal. Like people that don't know English very well, you know, and like the way we talk and the way we express ourselves, it makes no sense at all. It's like, why you eat with a can when you got a plate? You know, why would you put it in a can to eat it? You know. But anyway, I know that's stupid as all get out, but it's all right. Yeah. I'm sure I have, because Mama has had fresh pumpkin, and I don't mean to carve one. I mean, I no doubt I have, and just didn't know it, because I don't usually eat. If there's other options, I usually pick something besides the pumpkin. Like I like pumpkin pie, but it's not. If there's 3 other options of pies, I'm going to eat those first. And a lot of times the pumpkin pie would be gone, you know, before I would get to it, because I'm not going to go to it first. So.
It's a game changer making it out of fresh. And if you can ever find the white pumpkins, that makes a super good pie.
Really?
They're like a white tint pumpkin type.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, they're so good. If you're ever back up this way very soon, I'll have to see if it's the right time of year, if Phyllis can make us a homemade pumpkin pie, let you try it. Because it's so good.
And I have eaten plenty of it. Like there were times, because Mama loves pumpkin pie, so there were times that she would just make a couple of pumpkin pies, you know, like as a dessert. But like I said, holiday time, probably not. Probably didn't eat it very often, because there was too much else to pick from. But all right, so my comments, since you didn't give me a chance to tell mine, I
had to talk about food.
Yeah, I know. So I went with our buddy Will at Carter's Retro Quest, and by the way, if you haven't checked him out lately, go check out the video that he dropped about the hat buy that he made. Hopefully he'll do one where he really shows everything, because he got some really awesome stuff. But anyway, check out his channel. Check out that video that he just did. He said, awesome show, guys. I learned some things. I've sold lots of key fobs, but never thought about just keys. Something new for the radar. Love you guys. So, yeah, you know, it's like you said about the Tupperware thing with Kevin. I think it's like this too. I'll say this with every category, and I've heard other resellers say this, and it's so true. It's good to keep in mind that even in areas where you think none of that stuff sells, there's generally, if you do enough research, there's something buried there within it that is really desirable, that has a really good sell-through rate and probably a good value when it sells. You just have to take time to mine into it. If you do a general search, it'll look like it's not worth it at all. But when you find like there'll be some specific type, some specific keyword that describes a certain version of that item or something like that, and suddenly it opens up a brand new window, and it's like, okay, so if you have this, then there's 20 listed, right, and 35 sold in the last 90 days, and they sell for 3 times. You know, it explains why you had a few high dollar sales sprinkled in there. So pay attention to those titles and keywords when you are doing research, I'd say. I know that doesn't necessarily apply to keys, but if you're trying to learn other than just watching content, you can go to YouTube, or you go to eBay and do some of these searches on certain products, like punch in a brand name, punch in a certain type of item, a niche of items, and then start mining through the sold listings and pay attention to the ones that you know you seem to see the same keywords, the same description, the same part, and then go into your search and narrow it using that word, and then compare your listings and your solds that way. And you might be surprised, even in some areas that you've been overlooking, how there's something there to target when you're out doing your picking that you didn't have a clue about, and that's how resellers, I think too, you can find if you only build your database, right, of what to look for off of what you see online through YouTube, I'm talking about, then almost all resellers that watch YouTube are adding those same things here.
Yeah.
So those are often going to be picked over quicker. But if you do some of your own research, you may be able to build a little bit more knowledge about some things that not everybody else is looking for. And that helps to kind of pad, because you might tell you there's some gems out there. I always think to myself when I'm leaving a sale that looked like a good sale, but I just couldn't seem to find anything, because you can't stay all day and look everything up. And sometimes you don't have service in the rural areas anyway.
Yep.
And I'm always thinking to myself, I wonder what one amazing item was there that I just did not know to pick up. There's always got to be something I'm sure that I'm missing. And it's like, if I could have known, like, how bad would I want to hit myself? I can't believe I left that, that's part of the fun of this job too, is there's always more to learn, always ways to get better at it. And a lot of it comes down to picking the right items and knowing what to pick. This is handy. I mean, this is handy, being able to just scan something or do a quick search. But it's not always foolproof. You got to be careful.
You need it up there.
On the spot when you make those. I still make bad buys that I think are good buys.
Yep.
And I'm doing a quick search on here. I get home and then I get to looking at it again. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, there were some good ones, but the one I got, man, it stinks. Yep.
I totally agree. It pays to be at least somewhat educated in what you're doing. For sure. And go check out Will, man. That hat buy. Oh my gosh. He's gonna do so good. And that couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Absolutely. It's got me looking at that. I don't know. He got that off of, I think it was Hobby, and a lot of resellers use that.
That's what my brother-in-law, he looks at a lot of stuff because HighBid incorporates a lot of different auction companies into their stuff. So you're not just looking at one auction company. You're looking, you can take your search out, like bigger and bigger. And it's a pretty neat site. Now,
it is.
Be careful because it's kind of addictive. You'll end up buying stuff you don't need. But
well, you need to make sure you're buying stuff. If you're trying to resell, you're buying stuff that you're trying to make money on. But like if me and Will had talked about this, messaging back and forth some, when your circumstances are different maybe than what you'd like them to be, like mine, I'm more secluded right now. I can't just get out and hit stores and hit sales like I would like to. And so, you have to look for other avenues. We talked about this some with Leroy last week, finding other ways to source items. And, like for me, whether it be, I didn't end up bidding on the storage lockers. One of them actually dropped off of the bid site, which I'm assuming maybe the person came with their money before the bid was finalized. I don't know how that works.
Probably did.
But that was the one I was most interested in. And so I was going to maybe try to hit both of them. But since the better one fell off, I let that go. But, between things like that, or maybe like HighBid where, like, a lot of times I can get mom to ride with me somewhere for a few minutes and pick something up. So I bought off Facebook. You got to find new ways to do it. There's still opportunities there. You can still find inventory. You can still find a way to make money. It may not be the way you would prefer to do it, but the opportunities are there. And that's just another avenue, like the HighBid site, places like that, where you can go in and sometimes they'll even ship. Sometimes it's pick up only, but depending on who it is and what it is, there's some that might even ship. So, I know, I think it's Kat, Nurse Flipper. I think she buys a lot of jewelry and just has it shipped to her house, like in bulk. There's other people that do that, buy bulk items, bulk purchases of certain niches, which is what Will done with the hats, and, there you find the overlooked stuff like on HighBid. It may not be the category you normally buy in, but if it's really good stuff and everyone else is just passing over it because it's not what they want to do, it may not be what you want to do either. But if you want to make money, that's you get to that point. Are you going to step over the $20 bill because it's not the category that you want and just sit there with no inventory to list, or you're going to take what you can get?
I'll take what I can get and sit on it and not list anything. That's kind of at least for another day or two. I'm
just piling it up like treasure,
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you have up here the Nintendo 64? Is there another one creeping down there in the bottom?
Oh, it's creeping, brother.
What in the world?
It's full on.
Oh my gosh.
Complete in the box.
Wow. Yep. Hey, I can tell you what I want for Christmas if you want to know.
I'll send you a picture of it.
That's nice. You're so sweet.
I try to be nice.
That you are.
Yeah, those were the gem. That was the gems of what I got in that buy that I made, and I mean that was an incredible buy. I think it was. Seems like it was. Can't remember if it was $600. Maybe it was $800 I gave. It was a decent amount, but I got two complete 64s in the box. One of them still got all the paperwork, all the original plastic, everything's in there. The one that's up here, the atomic purple controller, all that stuff.
Atomic purple controller brings back so many memories. That and the atomic green, I had both of them.
Oh, they had so many great colors. The jungle green was awesome too. That the fire orange, I think, or something, whatever it's called. Some of those are super rare. Sometimes in those, like that's one of those things, right? Like just a basic Nintendo 64 console, it will sell and it'll bring you a decent profit if you get it cheap and it works.
Boy, in the box.
But some of the colors, it don't matter if they're in a box or not. Some of them are so rare. Like you find that one, it's not like it's worth thousands of dollars, but it's worth 3 or 4 times what a basic console's worth. So it pays to know when you see it, because you may pass it up because, well, they want $50 for that. But it may be one that sells for $350. So it may still be a good buy if it's in great shape. It pays to know. It pays to do a little research so you don't just, automatically assume it's too much money to spend on something. But yeah, I got those. I got 2 Game Boys and 2 the Game Boy Colors and a whole bunch of games, of course, and all the adapters, all the memory card. I had all the stuff that plugs into the controllers. The Rumble packs, I don't know. There was so much stuff. Whole bunch of the Pokemon games on the and I've told about this before, but all that was all in one. And I mean, it was and all the games they had like the original, like you could buy the Nintendo 64 clamshell cases. Yeah. So like I had 2 stacks of clamshell cases. I probably had like 40 of them, of the jungle green ones, not just the white ones. It was the jungle green. Yeah. And so I still got maybe one. I had a bunch of lots of them. I had a lot of them, maybe 6 in a lot. But I was selling them for like $20 to $30 a lot. Depending. I'd take offers. I think I had them listed at $29.99. But I nearly made my money back just on those, not counting the games and everything else, because there's so many of those. Because I was getting $20 to $30 a pop for a set of those, like 4 to 6 of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was just so much stuff, so much stuff, and it was 2 brothers that had kept. That was all they had. They had Nintendo 64 and Game Boys. They never bought any other systems, but they had such a big collection, and they both had their own. They were like 2 years apart. They had their own Game Boys, their own, had the cases for the Game Boys, like the travel cases. I know all that stuff individually is not worth a lot, but it just adds up, man. It's $20 here and $20 there, and had all the manuals for all the games. They said they had the boxes. But I didn't know this when I was making the buy. Like when I met them at a service station in a local town, and it's like, yeah, we had all the boxes for the games, the original boxes, but we couldn't find them. We looked for them.
Oh my God!
And so they got my number, like my actual phone number, while we were there. And it's like, if we find them, we'll give you a call and see if we can't meet up or we can ship them to you. They never contacted me again.
Yeah. Well, just the boxes will sell.
Oh my goodness! If I'd had the boxes for those, Caleb.
Well, I mean, even after the fact, if you sold all the games and they called you one day, you could still sell the boxes too. Yeah.
But see, the fact that, like, based on all their other stuff, I would assume that the only thing that they took out of the box was the cartridge and the manuals, and they had the manuals for 90% of what they brought to me.
Man.
And so if they had all the boxes, I'd have probably had like the complete contents and everything for all. That would have been thousands of dollars. I would have just like went through the roof if I'd have got that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was excited when I left there that day, man. I'm thinking I might get the boxes for these too. I was jittery. I was jittery for a couple of days, and I kept waiting. I tried messaging on Facebook. They didn't respond. I thought,
yeah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, it happens. But I was still thankful for what I got out of it. So
for sure.
And I'm still hanging on to these. I mean, I've got, anytime I want to list those, they're going to sell well. So
yeah, or when you get ready to send me one for Christmas, that's good.
I hear you.
All right. Let's hit up our sale of the week. You ready?
Let's do it. Yep.
Time for our sale of the week.
Let's do it.
About hit the end recording button. I'm just not gonna lie, my old brain almost went to the wrong spot. Oh boy, how stupid. But okay, so sale of the week. Mine actually came today, as I had like a lot of great sales. Tanya picked these up probably 7 or 8 months ago. These little IKEA, I don't know if I can say this right, Gestalta art sculpture wood jointed figures. They look like, to me anyway, the like you go into a store and they'll have this wooden mannequin that they're posable, like you can put a shirt on them and move their arms or whatever. It looked like those, but they were like probably 18 inches tall, and they were valuable, but they wasn't super valuable by themselves. So I lotted them together, all 5 of them together. They sold for $57.35. So I was happy with that.
Yeah,
I think she gave like $1. I mean, $1 or $2, something like that.
My best, I didn't have a lot of great sales either. I mean, I've sold plenty of items. I just, my good sales, I had a lot of just $20, $30, $35 stuff. I had, my best sale was only $40 money wise. But it was one of the Nike on field, like quarter zips. And it was a Clemson one in white. White with like orange sleeves, really nice. It was super clean. I actually got it at a thrift store. I think I paid $9.99 for it. I sold it for $40, like I said. And, so a decent profit, not a huge profit on that, but a good sale. Stuff like that, especially this time of year, if you can find the right teams, it always sells. You're not going to have trouble if it's good sizes. I mean, you get like 3XL, 2XL, and 3XL, you'll do pretty good generally.
So. Oh, yeah. And stuff like that, I don't love clothing, but stuff like that's pretty easy. It ain't nothing like you got to measure all your inseams and blah, blah, blah. You can generally sell that with just a size and get away with it. That's okay. But, that's pretty good, though.
Well, I do the measurements. I still, because, and I know there's different thinking on that. I know people that don't sell much clothes, they tend to not do measurements very much on what they do list. But I think it's kind of like the whole, you buy the right not digital camera, but I guess digital camera. Yeah, the right, like the Sony, some of those. I mean, you don't have to do a whole lot. They'll almost sell themselves. You don't have to have the perfect title, the perfect pictures. Their sell-through rate so fast. You just get it listed and it's going to sell if you price it right. And some items of clothing are that way, I mean, even within like Nike's a crowded, market as far as Nike clothing. But when it, all these things that narrow it down, it being a quarter zip, it being wintertime, it being Clemson specifically, all these things that make, so someone that's out there looking for this, they're going to literally type in Nike Clemson quarter zip or Nike Clemson pullover, something like that. And so the amount of listings they see is going to be a lot more narrow than just Nike pullovers, So, those are narrow markets. So I see how you can get by without it, maybe doing measurements. I get a lot of questions about, what's the pit to pit measurement, like the flat lay because that's how they know, like the chest measurement. And sometimes sleeve or length, but generally on a shirt, the most important one is probably pit to pit. That's how you know if it's going to fit you, when you put it on, or it's going to be too tight.
Huh. So, shows how much I know about clothing and stuff.
Look, and I'm not it's one of those things. That's one of those things I can find. It's like Chris always said, you sell what you can find. It's you can't be picky. If it's clothing is what I have access to most oftentimes, so I do buy more of it than I would like to. As I've said, I've tried to do the bulk buys on music because I really enjoy music, and rather than having a big pile of clothes to go through, I'd rather have a big pile of music to go through.
Yeah,
but I love. Look, there's a lot to be said about clothing for people that don't do it. I mean, it might not be your favorite thing to list, but there's nothing easier to ship. There's nothing easier to ship.
That part is true.
It is fast and it is easy. So easy. I think the payoff is on the back end for it.
Definitely. Okay. I've got to run, make a phone call. So let's hit our dad joke.
Okay.
And then I've got to run. Here we go. So I have a true blue dad joke. I think this is truly a dad joke this week. And by the way, Glenn Bill said I won.
Yeah. Traitor.
I'll take it. I will definitely take it.
I still love you, Glenn. It's okay. I'll forgive you this week.
Yeah, one time only. That's your once a year. Once a year you get that card.
I got it this week. If this don't make people laugh, but go ahead. I want to hear yours.
All right. So why did Adele cross the road?
To say hello from the other side.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Oh, wow.
Oh man, doggone it!
That's an
Doggone it, Caleb.
That's an instant loss right there. So,
all right. Did you hear the one about the drunk man who got kicked out of the museum for spanking the statues? He really hit rock bottom.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a double win. You went.
Oh man, I should have saved that one. After that, I had some bad ones. I could have just threw one out.
You could have won with about anything this week. I do believe.
So that was funny. It's worth sharing. Maybe I ought to give somebody a good laugh on the holiday. The 3 people that watch on Thursday that need a laugh.
That's pretty good. I like it. All right. Well, again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah.
Hope you have a great, great holiday and gear up for this super busy season we're entering into.
You better.
But until next time, this has been 2 Old Guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Love you guys. See you later.
See you out.